to the Circle of Fame. We are here with amazing world-class experts who share their passion and wisdom, knowledge, many years of experience with people who are looking for this, for knowledge, for knowing how to be more successful, how to live life with fulfillment. And all our experts are here and bring their best to make you really see these principles, these secrets, which every one of us discovered during our search for knowledge, for experience, which you can implement. And today we have the next panel discussion, and the topic is fearless decision making. How big entrepreneurs move fast and win big. Today we will speak about decision, because decision, this is first step to make a big change, to achieve big goals. And before we start our panel discussion, I will share the mission of the Circle of Fame. What are we here for? We want to empower driven business owners and entrepreneurs, people who make a huge change in society, and people who impact so many other people's life who work with them, who create a culture in their companies, who provide services. And here we are to support business owners, entrepreneurs, and bring the best knowledge which you can implement in your business and also, of course, in your personal life to live life with success, fulfillment, and happiness. And before we start our panel discussion, as usually, every one of experts who participate in today in this panel discussion will briefly introduce themselves. Today we have Peter Maroni, who recently joined us, who is new in our community. So let's start from you, Peter.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, everybody. I'm Peter Maroni. I live in England, in the UK. I am new to the group, so thanks for having me. It's lovely to meet you all and nice to meet the viewers. And thank you for your precious time. I had 30 plus years automotive management consultancy experience. I worked all over the world. I loved it. And then I got a calling I was very sick during that time. I got my health back. Everybody wanted to know what I'd done. And I set up 2 wellness businesses in my garden room in the summer of 2020. It's our 5th year anniversary. And now we're a national business, and we supply peak EMF. The company's called PemFit. And I also opened up simultaneously a hydration company, which goes hand in hand. So that's Optimal Hydration, and that's me.
Yes, and also, Peter, you didn't mention that you found a way how to be healthy and look much more younger after being sick for 30 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
30 plus years. And
Yeah.
I was given a terminal diagnosis of 47, which was a very serious esophageal issue. But after 30 years of chronic diseases, and in the end, I was on my own. I had to work some things out. And now we try to make people feel better easily. We work with unwell and well and high performers. So when I got my health back, everybody just wanted to know what I'd done. And now PemFit and Optimal Hydration are based around helping people in the UK do that. And we partnered with Pulse. We use pulsed electromagnetic field technology, very high end, and we get fast return on investment results for our clients, and they like that. So it was a big investment, but it worked. So we're doing good.
Yeah, thank you. So it is a great contribution, yeah, having you in our community, because health is so important for business owners and entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Yes, it would be great to learn from you. Yes, and Mary Ann, would you like to be next to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's lovely to be back in your company again. So I'm Mary Ann McGowan. I live in the west of Ireland. For the last over 20 years, I have worked in leadership development as a trainer, and my focus is very much on human-centered leadership and teaching those principles to the people that I work with. And I also work as an executive coach, so I do a lot of one-to-one work with my clients. I feel really blessed in what I do. It's taken me all over the world. I've met the most amazing people, and I just feel very congruent with my work in the world. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much. Vangelis?
Hello, everyone. I'm Vangelis. I'm from Greece, and I live in Costa Rica in a city called Atenas, which in Spanish is Athens. So I'm still kind of there. I've been in the technology world for 46 years, and in those years, I would work with companies to improve their key performance indicators. And through the years, I've realized that not everything can be solved with a business tool. And I started working in addition to the human element. And that means that I work also with the psychological barriers that a lot of times hinder people's productivity. So they don't hire me for that. They always hire me to solve a technical issue, but a lot of times that's really what I do to resolve it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it is great to have you in our community because your experience is so amazing and a lot to learn from you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Daniel.
Hello, everyone. First of all, it's a pleasure to be again with all of you. Such a great community. So I'm Daniel Cobrina. I'm French. We've been living in London for many years, and I'm a mental fitness coach, an international motivational speaker, and the host of a podcast called Redesign Your Life Today. So after more than 35 years in international business development and management, I realized that success was not about titles, about achievements. It was about alignment. So it's about as well waking up every morning, deeply connecting to who we are and why we are here. So today, what I'm doing is I'm guiding entrepreneurs who feel stuck, who feel who feel lost and unfulfilled, to regain clarity, confidence, and to live the life they want to live. And my unique power is really to create a very safe environment where people can feel free to express themselves without fear of being judged, of being criticized, or being given unsolicited advice. Because I believe that it's never too late to redesign your life, and that your great next chapter is ahead of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, and this is what is common between us here, I think. Yes, because we all made decision to redesign our life in one point. Yes, and this is what we will discuss today. Yes, and we have also Christina Best.
Thank you very much, Elena. It's wonderful to be here. I love this community. And I love that we share things that we can share something to inspire others, and everybody else in this group shares something that inspires me. So I love this group for that reason. So I'm Christine Best. I'm a wellness strategist. I empower leaders, entrepreneurs, and if they have teams, I empower them as well. And I do that through my Liberate system, a blueprint to wellness, to give people wellness in totality, to help them develop wellness in totality. And that means physical and mental. It incorporates other areas like social well-being and that sort of thing as well. But I focus on the mental side and the physical side to bring people to their wellness. So like Peter, I'm in the wellness space, and I love seeing people grab hold of the strategies and tools that I share with them to change their life and to change their appearance. They look better, they feel better, they shine, and they're smiling again, you know, because a lot of people develop pain from chronic diseases, and those are largely preventable. And I help people get rid of the habits and behaviors that cause those diseases so that they can have a trajectory that will take them to where they want to be in the future.
Thank you so much, Christine. Yeah. And
Thank
we
you,
have
Elena.
also Alan Edwards.
Hi, Elena. Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Edwards. I'm based in Hampshire in the UK, and I'm a property development and investment expert. I've had the good fortune to work on many major projects for blue chip clients. I've worked for some great consultancies like Arup and ACOM, and my company that I've set up is there to help to transform the built environment in an ethical way. So we take properties that are unused or underused, and we transform their value by repurposing them. And we also give great returns to property investors. That's me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. Great to have you in our community. So now we start our discussion, and the first segment is the following topic, the mindset of fearless decision making. And the first question is, what is the biggest mindset shift that allowed you to make faster, bolder decisions? Who would like to start with this question? Christine?
Yeah, I would love to share that. At the ripe old age of 63, I embarked on what I thought was going to be my songwriting journey. Well, from there, it developed into something more, and I came across a coach who took me through my dreams, my goals, and my values. And I realized that I could achieve the goals that I had left behind in the year 2000. I closed my 20-year business because I was the business, couldn't sell it. And I thought at that time that was it, end of that chapter. I was never going to achieve those wellness goals that I had. But fast forward 23, 24 years later, and I'd been coached by this coach, I realized I could now achieve these goals. And the moment I connected that I realized those values and that desire was still there, and I still had the skills, the knowledge, and the expertise to do that, I embarked wholeheartedly, fully onto this journey. And that it was challenging because a lot of things had changed in those 24 years, but I knew I was on the right path, and I had to do it. I had to complete this. I had to give it my best shot.
Thank you, Christine. Yeah, great. So you believed, yes, the change starts from believing that it is possible. Yes, you believe that you realize that this is possible, this is really can be your life, and this is what you can do. Believe in yourself and have faith and make decision. Great.
It's really funny because in that 24 years, I learned other things that are still useful in what I'm doing now. So it wasn't like I don't regret that. It's still useful, and I can use it, that knowledge and experience I had during that time.
Yes, yes. Sometimes it comes with the right time.
At the right time.
Yeah. Thank you. Evangelis?
I'll go back a long ways because when I started at the first corporation, it was 350,000 employees. It was a large corporation. They were huge. And I was just 21 when I started. And a lot of times when you're in that age, people sometimes do not take you serious. So I had to believe that I had something to offer. And I had a very large customer, and they would be a facilities manager. They would take care of other companies' data. And I would walk around the operations room, and a lot of times the operators would complain, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. And I just noticed they really didn't understand and utilize the features properly. So I went to their director and I said, do you have a problem if I would customize a class? And he said, no. So I did that, took 125 operators through my class and stuff. And then when I went to my manager, they said, well, we don't charge for that. That's just value add. And I said, well, what do you mean? I spent 4 or 5 weeks developing this custom training and provided it and delivered it. And so I have a plaque now from, it was IBM was the company. I have a plaque from IBM, first dollar training build. And I thought, seriously, no one in 75 years of it being in and 350,000 employees, no one thought of doing this? And apparently not. So my point is, sometimes when you're a pioneer or a trailblazer and no one has done it, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, we've never done it like that before. You have to dig in and really believe that you have something to offer and that you could do it in spite of what everyone else says, and they've been there for 20 years and you've just been there for a couple. It's where you have to really believe in yourself. So that's the idea. Thanks.
Yes, because each company has paradigms. Yes, their culture, as you said, we do it this way, and they continue doing this way, but it doesn't mean that there is nothing can be done better. Yes, so when you bring with something new, you have to break through that wall. Yeah, because initially they just say that, oh, this is what we don't do. Yes, so it is, yeah, it requires courage and decision, yes, to do that. Great. Mary Ann?
Hi, thank you. So when I thought about this question, I was going back to when I first started out in business over 20 years ago. And I think the biggest mindset shift that happened for me was moving from proving myself to serving others. I think in those early days, the other mindset that I had is I had to say yes to everything, because you panic when you start out with your own business. You still have bills to pay, you have mortgages, you've, family. And I really drilled down into what am I for? What am I about? What's my niche? And I really kind of moved into that space of this human-centered leadership is what I'm passionate about. People are not what they do, but who they are. And if you serve people the whole of the person, then you can create cultures and organizations that thrive and where people can thrive in them. So backing myself, I think, was a big mindset shift, right? Knowing my value. What came from there was really interesting. The first thing I would say is I walked away from stuff that wasn't in alignment. That was a big leap of faith. Saying no. I mean, saying yes is easy. Saying no is hard. So saying no to potential clients that I just knew we're not in alignment with the message, So I might, be able to charge a good invoice here, but it's not who I am. So really, that was a big thing. The other thing was backing myself in terms of what I was charging. I mean, I remember sending that first email going, do I press send? Do I press send? Is this too much? Is this too much? Even though I knew what I was worth from a market perspective and I knew what I was like, the feedback that I was getting. So really backing myself was the biggest mindset shift. And that alignment, even to this day, does allow me to make faster, bolder decisions. And I do it with fear. I still, if I still ask for an increase in a daily rate, I still have fear, but I'm now doing it. And I think that's it. That was key for me.
Yes, have the fear and do it anyway.
For sure.
Yes. Yes, this is a really great feature of big successful people, yeah, because this is the common feature. They have the fear, but they do it anyway. They train themselves to break through, just continue doing, knowing that this is right.
Yeah.
Great. Alan?
Yeah, thanks, Helena. I'd just like to quote an example of a project where it was required to construct a bridge to support it was actually the Wembley Stadium, the new Wembley Stadium, which was a massive increase in capacity. And what people had forgotten about was that in order to open this new stadium that was increased from 60 to 90,000 capacity, there needed to be transport infrastructure improvements to enable the stadium to open. Without the transport infrastructure improvements, the stadium would not have been allowed to open. And one of the transport infrastructure improvements that I was involved in required building a bridge over a railway to enhance the pedestrian capacity of the station. And we didn't actually even have the site that this bridge was supposed to be grounded on at the time we had to procure the steel for the bridge. So there was the potential for a victory if we managed to get the land, but compulsory purchase orders don't always work. And if the compulsory purchase order didn't work and we didn't have any land on which we could ground this bridge with the foundations on the other side, we would have had to basically sell off 200 tons of steel, which was being designed and manufactured, because all of this was being done in pretty quick time to catch up with the fact that it all had to be finished by the time the stadium was open. So fortunately, there was a happy ending. Otherwise, it probably would have been one of those scandals you'd have heard about all over the news and all over the papers. But it does require some bravery to commit large sums of money to designs and construction, and then to go ahead with them, sometimes with uncertainty about the final outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Alan, for sharing. And we have Peter.
Yes, this is a fascinating conversation. It's very much resonating with me, so I'm so glad to be with the group. Biggest mindset shift for me was I went from engineering to management consultancy, ended up working around the world, got sick. I was healthy, then I got sick, then I got my health back through digging very, very deep into biochemistry, rather like Christine mentioned before. Finding out what the problems were, which were largely environmental, correcting those. But wherever I went, not just locally, but it could be in Japan or China or South Africa, Central Europe, the Americas, the same theme came over time and times. I just got my health back, but people were saying, hey, Pete, it's great that you're here talking to us about this subject, which some big corporation had paid me to talk to them about. But what they wanted to know was where did I get my energy from? We work with you for a week. You're always in a good mood. Your energy is always good. And, what are you on? And can we have some of that? So I say, look, I'm not here to really talk about that. I'm here to talk about this. So it was really something I had to do, and the word alignment has been used by Daniel and by Marianne, and this is a word that's key with me. I thought actually I'm going from something that I don't really know a lot about into something that I know a lot about, and I was well regarded within that industry, into something that I felt like an imposter. But I'd been sick for over 30 years. I know what it's like to be in a hospital. I know what it's like to have surgeries. I know what it's like to have be prescribed medications. Not that these are bad things, but for me, they were not the tools that I needed. So that mindset shift, that trust your gut. People are asking for this, and it meant me taking a big shift at the top of my career, going into something completely new. But the moment that I made that decision, and I had client number one, and it was only one client, and he started recommending others, and so on and so forth, I thought, this is what I'm meant to do. Working with aligned people who truly want energy, clarity, and to feel better. So that was a big decision, and it paid off.
Yeah, great. To find yourself, yes, find yourself
Yes.
and who you really meant to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the biggest discovery what we can ever do. Yes, and find ourselves, and then also to make decision to be committed. Yes, to do that and believe that you can do that.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it would fail, but it was something I had to do. It didn't. It took off, and we're just about to have our 5th anniversary, so we're still going and we're growing. So that's good.
Great. Yes, and Daniel, let's just quickly one. Yes,
Yeah, well,
forward.
I
Good.
mean, for me, and again, I resonate with everyone here. And it's, the most life-changing mindset shift was for me to stop waiting to be ready. And instead of this, it was, as Peter said, to be aligned. I used to be a perfectionist. I used to be an overthinker. And I can tell you guys, this was really detrimental for many years. I wasted time and energy. And I realized, that clarity and courage, they come from commitment. When we commit with something which we really want, decision becomes easier. We trust our instinct, and now it's really my motto as well. I trust my guts, I trust my intuition, my instinct, and it's really about commitment with who we are, with our truth. So, and what I'm doing now, which is something which is above myself, helping others to live the best life they can. Decisions are much quicker. It's easier because I'm my authentic self. I follow my instinct, and then I don't wait for others to give me permission. I give permission to myself to go forward. So it's really when we do that, we can redesign our lives big time.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Daniel. Yes. Be ready to do what you can today with what you have, yes, from where you are, and the rest will come. And I just quickly share also mine. What changed my way of making decision is when I learned from Bob Proctor, who was my mentor, that to make decision, you don't need to have anything. You don't need to have resources. You don't need to have anything else that is outside of you. You make decision. It just make decision. Yes, just ask yourself, do you really want this? I'm able to do it. I don't know how, but am I willing to do that? And am I able? If you answer yourself yes, make decision and do your first step, because you never should know how. And another thing is that when you make decision, know that you will have fear and know that you will have doubt. And if it scares you and excites you, the same time, it means that it is good decision. And always make decision if you really want it, and you will find out how to do it later when you make your first step. So this shifted my perception, and after that I make my decision fast. Yeah, and I don't change them. Great. So next one is, how do you overcome fear when you face obstacles or when you have to make the choice? Mary Ann.
Hi, yeah. So I guess I've discovered that unless you're a little bit uncomfortable, you're probably not growing. So I tend to view fear as sort of a companion to me trying to do things that are just pushing my own boundaries a little bit. So I don't try and eliminate fear, to be honest. I just sit with it a little bit. I name it. I ask myself, I kind of have that inner conversation. What are you trying to protect me from? And let's see if that's real or not. And I guess, is it guiding me or is it trying to hold me back? Right. And I really kind of have that discernment around fear now. And I guess I ask myself a really simple question. What does my wise self know here? What does the wise part of me know here? And I think that internal pause just allows me to sort of move forward with some groundedness, with some clarity, rather than reactivity from a fear-based, maybe survival instinct. I think that's probably where my relationship with fear has evolved to over the years.
Yeah, thank you. Vangelis?
There was a project that was done in Brazil, and there was a $6 million order that was on possible cancellation. And the country manager called me and said, I would like for you to come over here and get this resolved. And there was a gentleman that was working at Cisco at the time, and he said, I'm coming up with this new course. I'd like for you to look at it. So I go out there to this place in Brazil, and I'm thinking, okay, they're wanting me to resolve possibly a technical issue and stuff. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? And the thought came to me, well, let's see what Sean sent me. So I look at his CD, and it's all about projects and how to work with them and how to get past stalled pieces and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, I didn't even know what I had. So people say, you have the answers. Well, so part of what I had to realize is that whatever situation I'm in, the answer is also provided. And a lot of times we don't realize it. And so it's just looking around and just sitting back and just realizing, okay, I know what to do here. And then you just look for it. So a lot of times we don't realize what we have, and just realize that if you can just think and not just, impulsively do things. To me, the just take action thing doesn't always work, because if I don't have a vision of what I'm doing, it's very difficult. If I just sit back and pause and relax and realize, okay, time is on my side, even though people, you have to do a time frame, then that's what helps me. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Peter?
Thank you. Yes, boldest decision I've made, and what was the result? I went from the very safe space of very comfortable life of doing something that my heart and my gut said was no longer serving me or other people. I went all in on a technology that nobody understood in this country, and I experimented over several months with fairly low-end devices, and ended up spending close to $50,000 US dollars, and bought the first of these systems in Europe. So that was a big decision, and I thought, well, it will fail, as I mentioned earlier. It didn't. People told people. We spent nothing on marketing and advertising at the time. The business has now grown from my small community in my garden room to, we have offices, studios now in central London, up into Scotland and in between, and a national training academy. That was a big decision. I went all in on something that I thought I didn't know anything about. But so much of it was based on, I know I'm an INTJ personality type, which is quite unusual, quite rare. There's a lot of intuition, and it's the architect. We tend to put things together, but it's not just having a good idea, it's executing it. And that the hard work and the result from that now is, I expected it to fail. That was probably a relatively healthy response initially, because it made me work hard. I am a bit of a perfectionist, as Daniel said. You have to act rather than just think. So I got busy, and the result is we're now helping thousands of lives, and our aim is to help 1 million lives in the UK. And we've partnered with the most prestigious brand of this equipment in the US, and they've never partnered with anybody. Pulse PEMF in the US. We were nothing, and now they're like, hey, we love the way you guys are using this technology and how you're changing lives. So it was a big decision. Things have worked so far, and the results are we're energizing life across the UK and hopefully further afield.
Yeah, great results. Thank you for sharing. And Christine.
Yeah, when when I stepped into what I'm doing, I was stepping into new territory, and of course, as you said, it can be scary, and you feel that you've got something worthwhile to offer the community or the world or whatever it is you're doing for your business, but you don't necessarily know exactly how you're going to do it. That's like what you said earlier, Elena, and I agree with that. And stepping into this new territory is a bit scary because yeah, you don't know how things are going to pan out really, but it's about recognizing that situation. Well, I'm scared of this. Okay, so what am I actually scared of? And then I'm thinking, well, I need to step back from this. I need to look at it from every angle. I need to understand this. What is it that I'm scared of? And what do I need to know so it's not scary? And so, learning about how to get around this roadblock or this build a bridge over this gap, whatever it is, I have to find a way because it's blocking my progress. And so yeah, it's about strategizing what you can do with that. And you don't always have the right answers yourself. So it's really wise to consult with somebody that you might have met along the way, a mentor or a business associate, or just somebody you've met in networking that you resonate with. And you can ask questions because people, when you ask them for help, people are quite happy to help you. And so you don't have to do journeys on your own. And I haven't done my journey on my own. I've been very grateful for the help that I've had. So that's how I've proceeded, progressed.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine. Yeah, and for what helps me to make decisions and overcome fear, when I understood that fear, it is normal. It is just a reaction of our brain to unknown. And when we make decisions,
right.
something bigger that we have in life and did before, it is okay to have fear. Yes, so when we understand that this is normal and we know that we will have fear, we will have doubt, but we know it is just like a terror barrier which always come, and we have to continue and break this wall and to come to other side. This is understanding this process always helped me to overcome fear because I just know that it is normal. And another question I ask, because initially our brain will tell us, what if it doesn't work? What if you lose? Like our brain always puts first negative scenario. But when we ask ourselves, what if it works? Yes, what if it works? So what I will lose? Okay, I will lose money, but you can make money anyway. But you never lose actually because you will gain the experience. You will know what doesn't work. So you can next time, if you don't stop, you just make it better. Yeah, so when we take control over direction of our thoughts, we can get that power and break through the terror barrier. Great. So we move forward, and we are now came to segment 2, and it is called bold moves and their impacts. Yes, so the question here is, what is the boldest decision you've made in business, and what was the result? Who would like to share the boldest decision in business, and what was the result? Alan.
Hi, Elena. Yes, this decision was one that came from a lack of conviction of the adequacy of a design, which was for a cofferdam, which is like a big dam which excludes water from a lower part of excavation. So the designer in this case had proposed that a single sheet cofferdam, so if you can imagine a steel wall of single sheet piles, some 5 meters high, was going to keep out the Caspian Sea. And my conviction was that this would not be adequate, because even if it kept out the Caspian Sea on a calm day, when there was a storm on the Caspian Sea and waves and high winds, which there often are in the place where this was located, then it would not be adequate. So if you had a steel wall that was just a single sheet thick, and one part of it started to fail, you get a domino effect, and all the water would come pouring in, and anyone who was in the excavation and any machinery that was in there would be swamped. So my bold decision was to basically double up the wall and put a roadway between the inner and outer sheets, so that it was in fact an embankment that protected the excavation. So it was a lot more costly than what the designer had proposed. But my discomfort was that this design was totally inadequate. It wasn't a safe design. So I had to justify the extra cost of doing this, but to my mind, it wasn't any extra cost, because had there been a catastrophic failure, it would have meant redoing all of the work anyway. So anyway, it's a strange little example of a bold move because of conviction something wasn't right. Thank you.
Yes, yes, good. Thank you for sharing. I also can share my Marie-Anne, yes.
Sorry, I guess as you were talking there, I certainly remember when COVID hit, and like I had a year's worth of work in the diary that just, fell off the cliff. There was nothing, which meant all my revenue was stopped. And like, how was I going to pay my pension? How was I going to pay myself? How would I keep the business afloat? And one of the boldest decisions I made at that time is I just decided I have no choice here. I'm going to have to try and build some sort of online program. So I invested in a learning management system. I started to produce videos. I hugely, you've no idea how uncomfortable I was doing that. I had to get somebody to edit them. I had to write scripts. And I went out to some of my clients and said, I'm building this. If I see this through and I build it, will you buy it? And one client, large multinational, who said, we still need people to learn. We still need to train people. So if you build it, we'll buy it. And from that point onwards, Marie-Anne was delivering programs in two ways. One, people were going online into my learning management system and watching these videos that I really like. I look back on it now and I'm cringing, but then also over Zoom. So deeply out of my comfort zone. It took a lot of courage to do it. I hated looking myself on screen. I hated listening to my voice on videos, but I did it anyway. So I think that's honest to God, that saved my business. Well, it certainly kept my business afloat at a time when nothing else was coming in, and that learning management system is still going to this day.
Yeah. The common denominator of success, do things which you don't want to do. Yes, and this is what makes different successful people from failures, because failures just do things which they like to do.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do things which we don't. Yeah, so we put efforts to do things which we don't like, but we know that this is what will get us results.
And sometimes, Elena, like we talk about vision, and I'm all about the vision, but sometimes it's pain that pushes you. Sometimes it's pain,
Yeah.
and that's okay too,
Yes, it's okay too. Yes, we moved by pain even more than we are moved by our desires. Yes. And also I quickly share my boldest decision that I was in network marketing for 10 years and I was very successful there. I was international leader, having very big income, like a big income every week. And I was not fulfilled. I didn't have goals. I was lost. Having this money, they were coming to me and I was just giving to people, borrowing or investing in something that I didn't know what was that. And a lot of money was just losing. I was receiving and tomorrow I knew where I will invest. And it was just like a program, like making money, losing money, and not having any fulfillment, any goal. So it came to the point that I started asking myself what I'm living for, what is my meaning of my life, and I made decision to quit that career. Although I had 9,000 people in my downline, I had like passive income, and I left. I started from zero. I started asking for my questions, answers to my questions. This is how I found Joe Dispenza. This is how I found Bob Proctor. I became hungry for this knowledge, for success, and I turned my career, that previous career, down, and I started totally from zero at age 49. So I think that was my boldest decision, just to really find what I love to do. And this is how I am here, because now I really happy every day, excited to wake up, doing what I love to do, and looking for more. Yes, and thank you so much for joining all this, my ideas, which with Circle of Fame is, we are all part of it. Yes, great. Thank you for sharing. So let's go to the next question. What did that experience teach you about risk and reward? Who want to share? What experience teach you about risk and reward? Daniel?
Yes, I don't see you anymore, but
Yeah, we
you
don't
know,
see
but it's all right. Yeah, I'd like to share. So you see, for me, it was I started my first own company It was just at the moment when the financial crisis happened in 2008. And, before I was employed, and now I started my own, and all of a sudden, September 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed. And I was in the car seat business. I started working for a company selling car seats, children car seats from Germany to the UK. And I remember, I'm organizing this trade fair in Birmingham, Tennessee. I've got a nice stand, and, people come, but everybody was scared to death. It was like people thought the world was going to collapse. So I thought, well, anyway, there's nothing I can do about, the outside world, but I can be persistent. So I persisted, and it took me some time to get my first customer because people were afraid. But you know what? I went on, I visited people, and then the first order, oh, right, and there was success, and a second, and a third. And afterwards, within 2 years, I built a really successful business, both in France and in the UK from scratch. So really, the lesson was that when you have in yourself certainty that you are on the right path and you can only do what you can control, just go for it. Follow your instinct, give it your best. And when we're talking about fears, basically fears and obstacles, let's look at them as opportunities. What are they here to teach us? And when we do that, when we really think, okay, it's there for a reason, and I'm going to overcome it. And when we do that, the success is on the other side of the fear.
Yes, thank you so much. You said so great. Yes, and please on your camera. Vangelis?
Yeah, I don't know, because I have got to see where to find back. Okay. Yeah.
Vangelis?
Yeah, there's a risk to do something, and there's a risk not to do something. So when is there not a risk? So if you just get rid of that, and then about 4 years ago, I was very similar, Elena. I was making a lot of money doing all this stuff, traveling all over the world, and there was just something that told me inside, I need to make a change. So I went from over $250,000 a year to zero, like the next day, because I stopped everything. And so this last 4 years, it's almost as if when you go to first grade, second grade, then you graduate, you go to a bachelor, and then you go to master's. It's like I was just moving up and up and up. And I was doing okay, but I still was too much in my head, too much intellectualizing things. And I had a couple of mentors that I got some new mentors that were going to take me to the next level of my discovering me. And that's what I've done these last 4 years, is move from that intellectual thinking stuff into my heart. And so now, with where I am in this present moment, now it's like my soul just said, okay, let's go back into the corporate world now with this new heart set instead of mindset. And so I'll be doing activities again, but it's from a different perspective. So that was a big change for me, a big, huge change for me, and so it was the fact that I was willing to do what I wanted to do to discover more about myself so that I could go to the next level in my life. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So important to be aligned, yes, with your soul and do what you feel is right for you. Otherwise, it is just a movement without being aligned, doesn't bring any fulfillment and joy. Doesn't bring us happiness. Great. Peter?
Thank you. I'll make this very quick. The risk in doing something for however long we work these days, 30, 40 years, and doing something that doesn't fill our heart and soul. I mean, it's unimaginable for me. I get that for most people, it appears, not the people on this call, on this group. I get that for most people, changing is really scary, to the point where we can't cross over, as Daniel said very eloquently. Crossing over the fear is what brings the success. Yes, it can fail, but you can always go back to doing what you were doing. The rewards are immense. There's a reward in failure itself, because then you're learning something. So I can't think of anything that when I've truly trusted my gut and gone with it, that has failed. Sometimes I've gone with my head and that side of things, and it's not succeeded, but I've learned something extremely valuable along the way. The key is not repeating. And the rewards are immense when you truly do what you feel you're meant to be doing, and especially what I was struggling with. You know, that I just wanted not to die and not be in pain all day, and not be struggling energetically, and to be able to, if anything good came out of that 30+ year process, it is helping others that are ready to feel great again. So the rewards far outweigh. As it happens, as the business grew, then financially it became very viable as well quite quickly, because that passion, that enthusiasm, that energy, and I suppose the knowledge of being sick and being a good listener and instinctively, intuitively knowing how to help people got quick rewards, and that was fantastic reward. So risk reward, that was it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Christine?
Yeah, so when I embarked on my music journey at the age of 63, that was a risk. But I loved music, and I thought, well, I'll just do what I can, and I'll set a goal. And I set goals, and when I achieved those goals, like, you know, I had a little business plan, and when I got to the point of reaching those goals, I would set new ones. And I thought, oh, I think I can now do this thing and that thing. So while I was taking a risk, I was thinking, I just want to see how far I can go. I want to see what I'm capable of. And I like what I'm doing, so I'm just going to pursue it. So while it's a risk, and it was just said that when it's your heartfelt desire, your soul deep desire to do this, and it feels like it's your right path, then you can find the courage to take that risk. And so that led me to then expand back into the wellness arena. And that was also a risk, because I was doing that in 24. So I was then, well, actually 23, I guess it was. So I was like 68, 69. And, you know, I had all these people around me saying, oh, you know, you can't do this and you shouldn't do that. And what are you doing that for? And there were all these naysayers and negative energy. And I had to distance myself from that people. And I had to stop talking to my family, my mum and my son and other people, friends. I had to stop talking to them because they were undermining what I was feeling like I really wanted to do. So it was a risk to go against all this stuff. But I'm really glad I stood my ground. And that risk, I feel, is paying off. It is paying off because I'm closer to where I want to be, you know, and I know I have something to offer. And that is what drives me to take the next risk and the next risk. There'll always be risks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine, and good to have you with us. Yes, so you found
Thanks,
the
Elena.
tribe, yes, because you have to be with people who support your dreams, yes, who
Surround yourself with the right people.
yeah, who see your vision and can even believe, yes, like reinforce it, believe in yourself, and even whose belief you can borrow if you don't have your own belief. That is so much important to be surrounded by such people. Yes,
Agree.
and yes, Alan, very quickly, because we
Yeah,
have
just
just
very, very quickly, risk and reward, it depends on the environment you're in. So if you take a railway environment, which has always got to fail safe, you get to appreciate the need for safety, i.e. not taking risks with engineering work or people, because when you look at the consequences of failure, then the consequences are catastrophic. So when you get your head around that and look at the potential for loss of life and loss of resources and capital and so on, it does make you look at risk in a slightly different way in certain environments, sort of such as railways, where there are a lot of people involved, safety of a lot of people. Same thing could probably be said for shipping as well, but definitely just a quick distraction from the discussion. Thank you.
Yes, of course. We don't risk people's lives, yes, or people well-being, and it is a big responsibility. So here we more speak about taking risks for our decision, like about business, yes, to do or not to do. But of course, if it comes to people and other responsibilities, lives and well-being should be the first. Yes, and for me, I think that the biggest risk is not take risk. Yeah, because if you don't take risk, you mean that you already lose before even you start the game. Yeah, so take risk, yes, I mean reasonable risk, yes, when you're safe, of course. Nobody tells you jump from the bridge, yes, and drive and get fly to start flying. Of course, reasonable risk, but we speak here about that overcoming that fear and doubts when we want to make decisions which we know we have to make in order to be where we want to be. Yes, when we get those goals. Great. So we have to speed up a bit. So the next question, how do you balance moving fast with making well thought out decisions? Daniel.
Well, again, it's about alignment. For me, it's about, and how do we get alignment? First, we have to get the clarity. And so we don't have to need, when we want to move fast, we don't need to have all the answers, but we have to have sure that we are on the right path. So the question I'm asking myself is, does this align with my values, with my vision, and with my energy? And if yes, I'm going ahead. So it's really, speed, it's about purpose. It's about keeping the momentum.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great. Yeah. Vangelis?
Yeah, we're going to talk about intuition later, so I'm going to talk about something else now. I can move as fast based on how prepared I am. I'll give you an example. In the leading technologies, there were some customers that said, we need to have these particular technologies installed. And it was so leading edge, there wasn't anything. There was no documentation, no nothing. So I called the test facility of the company. I said, how about if I am your documenter? You guys are doing testing on this. Yes, yes. So they said, well, if you can pay your way here, we'll let you see everything. So I talked to my manager and I said, they're going to give me free education if I pay my way there. So my manager paid my way. So I was very creative in how I created my own internship. So nobody knew what I knew except the test people. So because there were no courses or anything. So I felt so much more prepared because I can say, have you done this? Yes. Do you know what's going on? Yes, from the people who wrote it. So it's just the creativity of how you can prepare yourself. And then talk about speed. So that was one of the ways that I did that. Thanks.
Yeah, great, great. Thank you. Christine?
Yeah, to be successful in business, they say that, you need to be able to act quickly on certain information that you become aware of to make decisions quickly. And to be able to do that, you really have to have a certain amount of knowledge to make a fast decision. You might be a very, very good thinker, very able to think critically and work, through difficult situations quite well. But if you don't know enough about it, you can't successfully probably make a fast decision. So, I'm talking about myself here in particular, because there was to make decisions as quickly as I could. There were some things I had to learn first to minimize. We're talking about risk again, to minimize the risk. I mean, there was still going to be risk, but for me to make a decision as quickly as I could, I need to know certain bits of information to make a reasonable decision.
Yes, but before that, you have to make decision in order to go and start learning. Yes, you make.
Oh, well, I suppose that's a point too. Yeah.
Yes. Otherwise, if you didn't make decision, why you would go and learn something that you didn't decide upon that? Yeah. So
good point.
Yeah. So anyway, you make decision that you are going to do that, and then you go and learn. Yes, on the way. Okay, great. And Peter, let's with you finalize this question.
Very, very quick. A one-liner, in fact, a simple equation for me: strong intuition, plus a clear framework and plan, equals clarity with speed. That's it.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, strong intuition. And this will be our next question. What role does intuition play in your decision-making process? Daniel.
For me now, it's absolutely fundamental. I learned to trust my intuition. I realized that actually sometimes, for instance, somebody would come, business opportunity. I didn't really feel it, but okay, I would go for that. And then every time it happened, there was something. So now I, I really follow it. If I don't feel it, I'm not going for it. It's really about, we have it in us, and this is so powerful. So let's follow our intuition.
Yes, intuition is our high mental faculty, and when we start following it, we develop it, and then we see every time we see that it works. So we build trust. Yes, and next time we can hear this voice even louder. Great, Mary Ann.
So I can get very easily caught in doing. And what I've learned is I need to give space for my intuition to be heard. And I really learned that in the process of writing the book that it's more or less done now. But I used to have to take myself off on walks in nature. And when I did that, I cannot get over the amount of stuff that would just drop in, or ideas that would bubble up that would never have happened in the doing. So for me, my intuition guides me so wisely when I give it space to be heard. And that has been huge for me. And I literally build that into my process now. And if I'm thinking of, for example, new ideas for a way to teach something or to come up with a program, I go for a hike. It's an incredibly active process of thinking, even though it doesn't look like I'm doing a whole lot. You think I'm just taking a stroll in nature. So space for my intuition to be heard has been a key lesson for me.
Yes, we have to create space first, because we are bombarded with so many ideas and all thoughts, and we are so busy that we don't even have time to listen. And sometimes people even ask questions and they don't even listen answer because they make themselves busy. So really to create that space and just sit even in silence with yourself and not even think about anything, and just create that space to start listening to that intuition voice, which is tiny in the beginning. Yes, and then when we start listening and acting what it says, then we can prove that this is the right way. And intuition always says right, because intuition is connected with that our future self. Yes, like with that intelligence, high intelligence, which always guides us, but we have to also listen to it. Great. Vangelis.
Yeah, I actually took 2 years of classes on clairvoyance, cognizance, sentient audience, all that stuff, because there were Harvard Business Review and several other companies did a study years ago that the difference between executives and non-executives is not culture or society or education, it's intuition. And I was thinking, well, how do I even practice it? Because you have to actually have some things and activities like these courses I took where you practice, and you start very small, like, well, I think I should take my umbrella today. And you take it even though it's not cloudy, and then 4 hours later it's raining. And so, okay. And it's just tiny things, and do like 4 or 5 of those things every day. So did I hear myself correctly? And then that builds confidence in what you're hearing. And I love what Mary Ann said. You got to let yourself hear it. So, okay, did you give yourself time? And that's such a huge thing. I love that. And so I just practice it, and I do what she said. I just back off and I just, okay, what did I hear? And sometimes it makes absolutely no sense. Like, like Alan and Daniel were saying, it just doesn't make any sense at all sometimes, and you just do it. And that's where you start trusting yourself. So yes, listen to your intuition, but also start practicing. Thanks.
Yeah, great. Christine?
Yeah, when you are emotionally caught up in things, you are not listening to your intuition. You are distracted by these emotions and the feelings. So if you can step back and become objective, maybe dissociate from whatever it is, that you need to have an intuition about, you are, as you were saying earlier, Elena, you need to be still, you need to be at peace, you need to be calm in order to listen to that gut feel, if you want, still small voice, whatever it happens to be. It's a warning or a feeling that, you've got to do this or not do that. And you can also feed your intuition and make it stronger by learning about things. So the more knowledge you have, the more strategies you have, the more experience you have, the stronger your intuition it becomes more automatic, and yeah, you know, your intuition just kicks in and you just know that's not right or that's good or whatever. You can make those decisions the more experienced, knowledgeable, and so on you are.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. I have also a little bit different perception that our intuition is more coming from heart, and sometimes it is opposite what we can think logically. Like we can come from knowledge that it should be like that, and our intuition can tell different. So it is also like being not in head and not just making decision based on what we know, because it is much more than our physical reality and our experience. And when we tap into intuition, we tap into something invisible, some different dimensions or forces or guidance. So we have to really find that balance, not to be too much in our head and just think about strategy or knowledge or what logic is, because that will be totally opposite in many cases, because people can know that this is what they have to do and they can see that they're not successful, but based on that logic they just think that I have to push harder. And in many cases the problem is that people push harder, continue doing harder something that doesn't work, and intuition would tell them look at things from different perspective. Yes, that is why we have to really understand the difference between logic, knowledge, strategy, and intuition, which come from, I would say, different dimension, not this 3D reality which we can see and understand with our head. Great.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's just that when you're in alignment, when your knowledge and strategies and so on are in alignment with your intuition, that's when you fuel it, feed it, and make it stronger. I didn't mean that knowledge is the only thing, but I think that if it's in alignment, it can strengthen your intuition.
Yeah, definitely. When we do something that we are aligned with, what we have passion, yes, we'll start using all these high mental faculties and we will build them more than we do what we love to do. Yes, and our intuition always will show us the way, where we have to be, what we meant to do. And doing and developing and becoming experts in that field brings us really satisfaction, fulfillment in life. Yes, great. So we have what we have. We have few minutes left. So we move to the last section. Yes, last segment. Lessons for aspiring bold leaders. The question is here, what's one key strategy entrepreneurs can use to build confidence in their decisions? What one key strategy? Let's share our one key strategy. Daniel.
So for me, it's very easy. It's about taking action, because confidence, it comes from clarity, and clarity, it comes from action. So it's about taking a bold action, of course, align with yourself, trusting yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, and having and going full in, and then we will see that we are getting the results, and then this creates an unshakable self-trust. So take action, be bold, don't overthink, and success is there.
Yeah, great. Yes, get clarity, take action, and go full. Yes, go full. Yeah, burn
Full
those.
size.
Yes, burn both. Don't get plan B, no plan B. Get all with plan A. Great. Marianne.
Yeah, so I'm going to add strengthen your inner dialogue, because how we speak to ourselves really influences how we show up. I remember when I first started reading about growth versus fixed mindset, and there was a line that stayed with me so profoundly, and it was, beliefs become true if they rob you of action. I'll always remember it. So with the people I'm working with, like that inner critic can be really strong and really get in our way. So really trying to become your own inner coach. And I think that just makes you a lot more courageous, and even just slight changes, subtle changes in the language that we use. I won't be able to do this. Haven't done this yet. Haven't done this up until now. Small things can make a huge difference to that inner dialogue. So for me, the big thing, if you want to build confidence in your decisions, strengthen that inner dialogue.
Yeah, this is amazing, amazing advice. Yes, everything happens in our mind first. Yes, in a conversation, it determines our results. It determines how we will feel, how we will act, and the results which we have. So it is so important to be in control of our thoughts every day. And any negative thoughts, any despairing thoughts, we have to replace with empowering and see ourselves as we can. Yes, I don't know how, but I can. I will do that, and I will succeed. Great. Evangelis.
My question is it your decision? When I first started, everyone decided for me. Do this, do this, do this. It never was my decision. So when there was a mistake, I was still blamed. Because I didn't even validate the information they gave me. So I learned pretty quickly, okay, even if you tell me something to do, you still blame me if it goes wrong. Okay, so now when someone tells me something, I don't just take it. I research it, see if it's something that I would even do to make sure it is my decision. Because we're always talking about the decisions you make. Well, if you're not the one that's the source of your decision, you're not really making your decision, you're doing someone else's decision. So
Yes,
that's one thing to know.
yes, great. It is important to make decisions. So many people asking other people, what should I do? Yes, should I do? What should I do? Like it is difficult for them to make decisions because they're conditioned from childhood. Yes, so many parents who just decide for children what to wear, what to eat, where to go till they are already 16, 20, and they're still telling them what to do. So many people like that, they're just going in life and they ask everybody, what should I do? Yes, so this is really important to get responsibility and make your own decision and see if it is really something that you want to do and this is what is right for you to do, and then to go full in that. Great. Peter.
Thank you. I think one of the things that holds me back is seeing everywhere you go, you see overconfidence. And that kind of frightens me. Oh, am I one of these overconfident people? So I will get confidence through, self-talk. Your subject preparation. Goodness knows I do my preparation, and that is what gives me confidence, and then the ability to make the leap. And also knowing that confidence isn't ego. It's kind of built through consistent alignment and the small wins, and then honoring those instincts, keeping on track and measuring what works. And then Christine mentioned earlier that we don't just make one risk, we don't just take one risk, but the next risk feels more comfortable, because if you stay within those known boundaries that work, then further success comes, and the fear gradually goes, without ego, without overconfidence. But it's for me, that's what it is. It's confidence through preparation is the beginning.
Yes, I totally agree. Confidence is not ego. I think confidence is having clarity, knowing yourself well, and also knowing what you want, have that clarity, what you want to do, and also have faith. I think that confidence is also related to having faith, believe in yourself, and also having faith that when you do right thing, you will get support from universal intelligence, God. Yes, and this will give confidence when we know that we are not alone, that I have to do what I can do and put the rest to God, to those supreme forces who will support you. Great. And Christine.
Yeah, so I definitely agree that knowing yourself and not believing in yourself, but to believe in yourself, you have to know yourself. Knowing yourself is about knowing what makes you tick, who you are, what your values are, what your dreams and goals are. Knowing those things are the deeper parts of you. And having dealt with limiting beliefs or conflicting values and things like that, once you've done those things, you definitely know yourself, and you can believe in yourself and know what your purpose is. And that, to me, is the biggest thing in being successful in whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine. Yeah, great. And last one for this question is Alan.
I'd just like to use the example of Shackleton and his failed expedition to the South Pole, Elena, because Shackleton managed to get his crew of a ship which had been caught in the ice, and he managed to get all of them back to the UK eventually after a year, after a tremendous ordeal and journey. And he did it by involving each one of the crew in his decision making. So he knew which ones he could rely on, which ones were less reliable, and he kept them all busy and he kept them all informed about what was necessary to keep them alive. So basically, communication and teamwork, I think, is very important in leadership.
Yes, yes. Yes, thank you so much. And we have a last question for our panel discussion today. And this question is the following. What's your number one piece of advice for someone stuck in overthinking and fear of making the wrong move? And we have Daniel.
Well, again, it's take action and look inside yourself, because you've got the reply, follow your heart, follow your instinct. Take this little step there, and then this is, you will see. To go with this, it's about, remember that fears, they will always be there. As Marianne was saying before, learn to embrace your fears. And actually, you know what does a fear has to teach us, and how we can grow with our fears.
Yeah, great. Yes. When you have fear, it means that you have opportunity to grow. Yes, do something new, be somewhere in the higher place when you were before. Great. Evangelis?
I asked the question, what is a wrong move? Because if I look at life as people will say, well, they're all opportunities. Well, I don't think of a mistake or a wrong or whatever. I think of them as just milestones along the path of my life. And if I look at it like that, then that fear of whatever it is goes away, because I'm not afraid of making a wrong move, because it's just a move. And then we're back to, I want to make my decisions based on what I hear. But it's almost like a game. You're playing the game of life and you practice and say, well, did that work the way I thought it would? And maybe a few people have already said this, maybe it works differently than what I thought, and I had no reason to even fear in the first place. So is it a wrong move? I just feel like it's part of what our path is in life. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And when we look back in life, we can see that most things which we really achieved and what we are happy that we did, it is when we had fear and overcame that, when we stepped into that unknown. So now when we look back, we say, so good that I did that. Yes. Peter?
Thank you. So yeah, very quickly on this one, really just trusting yourself, trusting your gut, following your heart, and feeling aligned. It's been mentioned a lot today. Feeling alignment with what you're doing and the people that you're working for beats overanalysis every single time.
Yes, yes.
And
Great.
that it's overanalysis, which often, even with a great idea, that's what holds us back. So executing our plans with alignment and energy and working. Let's be honest, everyone on this call works hard. You can't achieve, nothing good comes without putting the effort in. And I think, so often I look at people who are not achieving what they want. Well, they're just not working hard enough. And it doesn't mean not having a life. It can be hard. There's been lots of stories of that today. But, alignment, doing what we're good at, what makes us feel good, taking that feedback and not over-analyzing what is working.
Yes, because you will never know how. Yes, you will never connect the dots when you look forward. You only can connect the dots when you look backwards. How Steve Jobs told. So in the beginning, you should trust, you should have faith that somehow these dots will be connected. So decide what you really want, follow that you want this, make decision, and do what you can do today. What can be the first step that you have? Great. Alan?
Yeah, just a quick one along the lines of what I was saying before, really. If you're unsure about something, you should just consult with your colleagues and the team around you, seek the best advice and make a decision. It doesn't really matter sometimes whether it's A decision or B decision, but you need to take a decision rather than take no decision, in which case things come to a stop. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, indecision is also decision. Yes, indecision is decision not to do anything. Yes, and this is what doesn't get people anywhere. They just lose time, energy, and they will never be happy. Great. And Christine, for this question.
Yeah, so if you're stuck in your thoughts, I think it's a good idea to stop thinking about that thing they're stuck on, because you're not necessarily going to make any headway. So quite often, sleeping on it overnight, you wake up the next day, the brain's already sorted it out for you, and you wake up with an answer. So that's one strategy that I find useful. But also, changing your physical state can help. So if something's bothering me, and if you're stuck on something, you're usually bothered by it. So go for a big brisk walk and for 20, 30 minutes. And when you come back, all the endorphins, oxytocin and all of those things are circulating around your body. So you're feeling better. Quite often you can make a better decision when you are in a better physical state. And you can break that cycle of being stuck. So yeah, I just like to use different strategies like that to just to break the cycle that I might be in if I'm stuck on something.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, so we finalized today. All the questions came to the last part of our panel discussion, where we want to share one takeaway or two takeaways, what we learned today from this panel discussion and from each other. Yes, who would like to share what came out for you from this discussion? What is your takeaway? What resonated with you? Vangelis?
Marianne, what was that? You said beliefs that become truth override. What was it?
Beliefs become true if they rob you of action. Oh, yeah.
If they rob you of action.
They rob you of action. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, that really touched me, because I'm going to type this down, because anything that changes in what I have learned is not really truth. Truth doesn't change. But since our beliefs change, because none of us believe the same thing today we did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, not even me last week. Every time I read a book, like I'm a different person after this meeting today, because some of you, I take notes, and some of you said some things, oh, I didn't think about that. Now tomorrow, that's going to be part of my thought process. So, and that's part of my belief system for this time. And then tomorrow I'll have a different belief system. So I think a lot of us are so afraid of, well, is it the right thing? Well, based on what you believe today is your truth, and just believe that's what's going to go. And then you'll make changes and adaptation. So I really love that, Marianne. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Peter?
Thank you. Fearless decision making. Takeaway for me is that boldness, you need boldness to take these big decisions, and that they begin when we stop asking for permission, mainly from ourselves. So sometimes I have to have this word, get out of your own way, Pete. You've made the decision, it all makes sense, move forward. And even if it goes wrong, you've learned a lot, and that also is very valuable.
Yes. Yes, and also give yourself time, because sometimes people make decision, and then if it doesn't work, they say, oh, it is wrong decision, I have to do something else. So we have to give time. Yes, we have to make decision and be persistent. If it doesn't work, we have to put time, we have to put efforts and continue. Yes, another common principle for success is that successful people make decision fast and change it slow, if they ever change. And failures, they make decisions long, slow, and change them fast. So we have to make decision and also give time and be persistent, believe, take action, and see results. Yeah, great. Mary-Ann.
Gosh, what's really come up for me as I listened to everybody today, and what a great conversation. I think what's come up for me is that boldness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's that sort of quiet decision to sort of stay true to yourself, to trust your instincts, and to allow all parts of you to come online when you come to making decisions. It really kind of struck me that it's not always logic. Sometimes it's heart, sometimes it's gut, sometimes it's faith, as we talked about it. So I guess that's my biggest takeaway, that sometimes that boldness is quiet because you're tuning in and you're connecting into all parts of you.
Yeah, beautifully said. Alan?
Yeah, I think following on from what Marianne is saying, I had the good fortune to work for a very good leader who consulted widely and quietly explained the rationale behind his decisions. So he was very successful in delivering the 2012 Olympics, the infrastructure there for the whole of the park and the transport projects and everything. And it just goes to show there are different styles of leadership, and this person had a very effective way of leading. I've heard it said of him, he could sell refrigerators to Eskimos, but he wasn't a salesman at all, but he was a good leader, good team leader.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Christine.
Yeah, I like what Vangelis said, because every time I come here, I listen to what people say and I absorb some of those things, and some of those things really resonate with me, and they have today. And, being in alignment has come up quite a lot. And being a fearless leader is knowing who you are, what your purpose is, why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing. And that allows you to make those decisions, to address the risk, to take the risks, to keep on taking risks. And we're living in a time where everything's changing on a daily basis, like technology in particular is causing such change, that we have to be able to take the action, as Daniel said, and we have to be able to be fearless enough and to know ourselves well enough to make good decisions or quick decisions, because we have to be able to pivot as soon as things change. And so we have to be prepared to be uncomfortable and to just embrace change in order to survive.
Thank you. And Daniel?
Yeah. And, a point, it's really that, let's remember that we are the drivers of our lives. It's really and it's why we need to step up, to show courage. Because when we do this, and when we do this from a place of integrity, from a place of trust, from a place of love, from a place of giving, it can't go wrong. Failure doesn't exist, actually. For me, it's not in my vocabulary. Sometimes we take an action which doesn't bring the result we want. And it's absolutely fine, because we learn from this. We know how to correct, and then we go to the next one, and this is where we are going to have the results we want. So always take action. And as you said, Elena, not making a decision is a decision, and this won't bring us anywhere.
Yes, thank you, Daniel, and thank you everyone who participated today. We had such a great discussion, and for people who are watching this replay, I would like to ask a question, like, from what you heard today, what is one decisive action that you will take within next 24 hours? Think about this, what you can do as to make decision towards your goals, what you feel aligned to. And so thank you so much, and I see you all next time in our next panel discussion.